Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Omadhyaya Mirandasya Vinavina Siddhakaya Chaksus Miritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manudityam Shaditam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kayamayam Dananti Sampanantikam. I want first of all to offer our respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who forced us to open our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge when we were in ignorance of this great knowledge of God. There is a verse in our scripture which ran as follows. It said, Evam parampara praptam imam rajasyo vidua sakalneha mahata yoga prusthaparatanaha. This great chanting, this great science that we are now delivering in our major country of the world, we have now 85 centers all over the world. It is not a new religion, a new American religion. There's so many new religions. This is not new religion. Evam parampara. It is very, very old. Thousands and thousands and millions of years old. And this great science was passed down throughout time to the saintly king. And the saint, like this, from guru to guru, they are giving this great science, delivering this great science. And like this, it is coming to us from time immemorial. So, for thousands of years, holy men in India, they have attained the realm of super consciousness, or the realm of transcendence, by following the footsteps of these great saints, which are giving us this great science of Krishna consciousness, or God, conscious of God. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our spiritual master, the founder of the society, is in direct line of this disciplic succession, is the last representative of this line. Just like in your Christian church, also you have this parampara of pope, and one pope disappeared and another pope take the place. So from Peter down to Pope Paul, now you have a disciplic succession. So similarly, for thousands and thousands of years, we have a disciplic succession, and His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, is the representative of this great disciplic succession, which is called the Brahma Gaudiya Sampadaya. Just like if you have a very nice tree, and a mango tree, and on the top of the tree you have a very, very beautiful and mature fruit, then you are very careful to take down the fruit. So therefore you put the man on each branches, and the man on the top of the tree pick up the mango and pass down to the man in each branch, and finally the mango arrives on the bottom of the tree, very unbroken, uncontaminated. So His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, like this, has received this mature fruit of knowledge of God from this disciplic succession, and on the order of His spiritual master, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He went in America about 7 years ago, in New York, alone, without knowing anyone, without any money, just like a traveling monk. And there he arrived in New York with so many millions of people like this. He didn't know anyone. He sat down under the tree there in the main park, and he began to glorify God like this. So one disciple, two disciples came, so many disciples. We have opened one center, and then students have received initiation. Some have become monks or sannyasi, brahmachari. Some also can get married. And like this, we opened a center in New York, in San Francisco, Montreal, and now we have center in every major city of the United States and Europe. We have a total of 85 centers all over the world, and we are opening about 1 or 2 centers every month. So there's something very, very, very powerful there, very great. Why thousands of young boys, girls, men, women are giving up everything, giving up their wealth, their nice house, their nice television, their nice everything. They're giving up everything, and they're giving their life to this great saint, this Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta, because he delivers something that it cannot be found in this world. It cannot be found in this world. It can only be obtained by listening to his great message. It's called Krishna consciousness. So I just beg you to listen very carefully to his divine word. Thank you very much for the kind
Respectful fathers, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your kindly giving me a chance to speak about this Krishna consciousness movement which is going on all over the world, especially with the assistance of my American and European disciples. Long ago, a prehistoric age, practically, because the modern history cannot give account of the world more than 3,000 years. But about 5,000 years ago, a meeting was held at Naimisharanya. Naimisharanya is a place in India, still existing. Perhaps some of you who might have visited India. This place is situated near Lucknow in the northern India provinces. A very nice place, sanctified place. Still people go and find peace for spiritual meditation. In that tract of land, Naimisharanya, from time immemorial, this place was especially recognized for spiritual meeting. So, there was a meeting of great saintly persons, and Suta Goswami, one of the disciples of Sukadeva Goswami, he was selected the president to speak on Krishna consciousness. So, the question from the saintly persons, there are many questions. One of the questions was that after departure of Krishna, who is in interest of dharma and jnana? Dharma means religion, and jnana means knowledge. Because Krishna, when he appeared on this planet, he said that Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya diskita dharma samasthapanataya Sambhavami Jugi. I appear in every millennium. According to Vedic scripture, Krishna appears on this planet in one day of Brahma. And Brahma's duration of life is described in the Bhagavad Gita. It is a very, very long period. He is one day, daytime, 12 hours from morning to evening, is described Sahasra Juga Parjantam Arhajat Brahmano Vidu. Sahasra Juga. Juga, this age, particularly like this is, according to Vedic culture, this Juga is called Kali Juga. So there are 4 Yugas: Satta Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So the aggregate of all these Yugas is about 4,300,000 of years. And if you multiply by 1,000, then that becomes Brahma's one day only, 12 hours. Sahasra Juga Parjantam Arhajat Brahmano Vidu. So similarly, he has got one night also, and similarly, one day and night, then 1 month, then 1 year. In this way, he lives for 100 years. So during this period of daytime, Krishna appears once. That we learn from the Vedic literature. So Krishna says that what is his mission to come here? Krishna is God. He does not require to come here, but he comes to serve some purpose. If God wants to come, nobody can check. Sometimes people question that why God should come. So our answer is, why God should not come? If he is all powerful, who can take him to come here? If we say the God cannot come, that means God becomes under our rules and regulations. So, according to Vedic scripture, God comes. And he says personally, why he comes? Jada jadahi dharmasya glani bhavat. Whenever there is discrepancies in the prosecution of religious principles, he comes. Jada jadahi dharmasya glani bhavati abhuthanam adharmasya. And whenever there is discrepancies in religious procedure, irreligious activities increase. That is natural. Whenever there is lenient government, the rogues and thieves will increase. It is natural. And if the government is very strict, then rogues and thieves cannot become very prominent. So, when Krishna comes, he has got 2 businesses. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya dushkitam. For giving protection to the devotees, to the faithful, and for killing the demons. So Krishna, when he was present, he exhibited these 2 things. Perhaps you have seen our picture of Narayan or Vishnu. Vishnu has got 4 hands. In 2 hands he has got lotus flower and corn shell. And the other 2 hands he has got a club and a disc. The disc and club is meant for vinasaya dushkitam, for killing the demons and the miscreants. And the corn shell and the lotus flower is meant for giving benediction and blessings to the devotees. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, we understand about Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is a well-read book all over the world. Any country will find edition of Bhagavad Gita by the language of the country. So, in this Bhagavad Gita, we find that Krishna is giving instruction about what is dharma, religion. He says, and at the end of his instruction, he says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja. That you give up other types of so-called religious principles, you simply surrender unto me. So, in another place, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Dharmantu sakshat bhagavatani. Religion means the course of God. Just like the state gives us some rules and regulations to live, and one who follows the rules and regulations or the laws of the state, he is called good citizen. And those who do not follow, they are called outlaws or rogues or certain things. Similarly, religion is very simple thing. It is not cumbrous, simple thing. If we take it simply, religion means, our definition of religion is to accept the orders of God. That's all. It doesn't matter what religion you are following. You may be Christian, I may be Hindu, that may be Mohammedan, but the taste of religion is how one has developed his God consciousness. That is the definition given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma. There are different types of religion. But the best of them, Savai Pumsa Paro, Paro means the superior, the best. Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma, Jato Bhakti Adhokhaji. Adhokhaje, Adhokhaja is another description of God. Adha, where material senses cannot reach. Adhokhaja. Direct experimental knowledge cannot know God. There are many places, in the Bhagavad Gita also it is said, Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschit jatati siddhaya, jatatam api siddhyanam kaschit veti mam tattata. Out of many millions of persons, one is interested to make his life successful. And out of millions of successful persons, one can very rarely understand what is God. That is the statement in the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, we find that people are generally interested with economic development, sense gratification, that's all. At least I am traveling all over the world, and the people are very busy for searching out food and shelter. But according to Vedic scripture, it is said that food and shelter is already there, given by God. Because there are 8,400,000 species of life. Out of that, human beings are very few, 400,000 species of life in different planets. And out of them, civilized men, they are very, very few. But God is giving food to everyone, actually. In the Vedas it is stated that Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetananam Eka Bhuvanam Vidadati Kaman. God is the supreme living being amongst all living beings. Nitya Nitya. And is the supreme eternal amongst all the eternal. We are also eternal. Because we are part and parcel of God, we have got all the qualities of God. But because we are minute part and particle of God, therefore all the qualities of God are there in minute particle. The example is just like the ocean. Ocean water is vast, and drop of ocean water, you analyze chemically, you will find all the chemical ingredients in that drop of water as there is in the water. The difference is of quantity. In the drop of water there is salt, and in the vast mass water in the ocean there is also salt. But the salt containing in the ocean water is very, very big quantity than the salt containing in the drop of water. And another example can be given. These are Vedic examples, just like the fire and the sparks of the fire. We have seen experience when there is fire, sometimes there is some sound, but immediately hundreds and thousands of sparks coming out. Now these sparks, they are also fire, but not as big as the original fire. But they are fire. Therefore our philosophy, we following the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Achinta Bhedabhed Tattva. The difference is simultaneously we are one with God and different from God. We are one in quality. God is spirit, we are also spirit. He is super soul, we are individuals. But God is great and we are minute fragments. That is different. Therefore, simultaneously we are one and different. One in quality, but different in quantity. You accept also God is great. And we say that nobody can be greater than God, neither anyone can be equal to God. That is our philosophy. Asama urdha. Asama. Sama means equal. Nobody can be equal to God. That is not possible. God is one. You may have some understanding that in the Vedic literature there is method of many demigods. But the demigods, they are also living entities. A little more powerful than the human being, that's all. Just like here in this world also we find somebody is more powerful than other. But that does not mean he is God. God is supreme, all powerful. Here you may be a little more powerful than me, but another may be found who is more powerful than you. Another you can find more powerful than him. In this way go on. There is no limit. Anyone is fine. Somebody lower than him and higher than him. But nobody can say that I am the supreme. Nobody can say. That is not possible. According to our Vedic literature, Brahma, the creator of this universe, is considered to be the highest creature within this universe, but he is also not God. That is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tene Brahma Rida Adi Kavaye Muyanti Jat Suraya. God instructed him to create. Adikavi, he is the original creature within this material world. Somebody may question that if he is original creature, then how he got this knowledge of creation? So that is explained. Tene Brahma Rida Adikavi, Rida. From the heart, God instructs. God is situated in everyone's heart. That is called Paramatma. Ishara Sarvabhutanam Mrideseo Arjuna Tishtati. God has got three features: Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Brahma is impersonal feature. And then Paramatma, the localized feature. And Bhagavan, the personal feature. Vadanti tat tattavidas tatyam jad jnanam adhyam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdati. The absolute truth is one. Adhyaya, without any duality. But according to our capacity, we realize the absolute truth from three different angles of vision. So one of them is realization of God in His impersonal Brahma feature. And another realization is to realize Him. Generally the Jnanis, the philosophers, the speculators, by dint of their own knowledge, they realize the absolute truth in His impersonal Brahma feature. And those who are yogis, they realize there is God, the Supreme Lord, as Paramatma within the heart. And those who are devotees, they realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supreme Person. But the Paramatma and impersonal Brahma and this person, God, they are all the same thing. The example is given just like the sun sign, the sun planet, and within the sun planet the sun God. According to Vedic religion, Vedic conception, every planet contains living entities. That is also very natural to conclude, because within this material world, everything is made of 5 elements, gross: earth, water, air, fire, air, and sky. And these are gross elements, and the subtle elements are mind, intelligence and ego. So, in some of the planets, earth is prominent, some of the planets, water is prominent, some of the planets, the fire is prominent. In this way, these 5 elements, gross elements, every planet in the material world is made of these 5 gross elements. So, just like here also, we can experience that some of the living entities, just like the fishes, they are living in the water very peacefully. But if you are put into the water, you will not be comfortable. So perhaps you will die. Similarly, if the fishes are taken, that also you experience from the water, they will die on the land. Here we can see that some of the living entities, they can live comfortably within water. Some of the living entities, they can live comfortably on land. Some of them in the air. Similarly, why not some of them in fire? Because after all, fire is also one of the material elements. So according to Vedic scripture, there is life in the sun planet also. They have got fiery body, that's all. That is the difference. Just like the fishes here, we see they have got watery body. Similarly, one may have got fiery body. From logic, from argument, we cannot deny that. So, this example that in the sun planet there is a predominating deity or president or God, whatever you call. He is called Sun God, and his name is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Vibhosyan, his name is also there. And Krishna says, Imam vivasthate yugam prastavanaham abhyam vivasyan manaviprahu manu ikha kabibravit. Krishna says that this instruction, Bhakti Yoga instruction of Bhagavad Gita, was first imparted by me to the sun god Vibhosyan. That is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Now it is a question of believe or not believe, that is a different thing. We believe, we take it. Because it is said by Krishna, we take it, accept it. And we apply our reason also, not blindly take. Then if I see that in every planet, this planet, there is a president, formerly in this planet also, there was only one king, and he was ruling over all the planets. Gradually, people are divided, their interests have become different nations. From Vedic history, we can see, I understand somebody was telling me that in Australia also there is some Shiva temple here. Who was telling me that? Yes, he was telling me. So, the archaeological investigation has found so many relics, and in the Vedic literature we also find a mention of all the islands, Saptadip, 7 islands. 7 islands means Asia, Europe, North America, South America, Africa, Australia and Oceania. These are mentioned already in the Vedic literature. So it is not that the world was not known to Vedic culture. It was fully known. And one king, he was that Maharaj Prithu, he was the only one ruler all over the world, and he was ruling over the 7 islands that is mentioned. Although his residential quarter was in the Brahmavata, the piece of land between the river Jamuna and Ganges. That tract of land is still considered very sanctified land. Practically all the Vedic culture is there still. So the example is that as there is a chief man or king, he is also supposed to be God's representative. God gives power to somebody to look after the interests of the inhabitants of that particular planet. Similarly, there is a king in the sun planet. We may call him sun god or something like, but there is a predominating personality. He has got his personal effulgence, body, just like fire has got effulgence, heat and light. Similarly, he is the fiery god or fiery person, and his effulgence is spread all over the universe. Just in a Brahma Samhita, it is said, Jat chakshuresa savita sakala grahana raja samasta shuramurti aseshu teja jasyagmaya bhramati sang bhritakala chakro govindamadi purusam tamang majani. It is the description of the sun planet. This sun planet is described as the eyes of all other planets. Jat chakshuresa savita sakala grahana. That's a fact. Unless there is sunrise, you cannot see. You may be very proud of your seeing. Oh, I want to see. But we do not know that our seeing power is limited and conditioned. Unless there is sunrise, these eyes are useless. Just like this, at the present moment, at night, we cannot see even 4 years. So what is the value of this eye? It is conditioned. If there is sunrise, then we can see. That condition is made by God. Therefore in the Upanishad it is said, when God sees, you can see. When God walks, you can walk. These are the descriptions in the Upanishad. Practically that is the fact. We are completely helpless, simply dependent upon God. The word that not a single breath of breath moves without the sanction of God, that's a fact. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is said, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivistya, I am living in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivistya, matta smriti jnanam apohanancha. From me there is remembrance and forgetfulness. There is, we sometimes forget and sometimes remember. That is by God's grace. We are practically under the, not exactly directly, but through his agent, the material agent. So there are so many things to be understood about God. So we are preaching God consciousness throughout the whole world just to study the science of God. So please do not take us as something sectarian. Therefore, that's like the science of mathematics or any science you take. That is not localized in one place. Any advanced student, if he wants to know about that science practically, he can go to some country either to preach or to learn. So our coming and going throughout the whole world, we are interested to enlighten people about the science of God. That is our business. And our taste of religion is how one has developed God consciousness, the love of God. Practically throughout the whole world, they are rejecting God. You know also very well. In England, there are many, many churches. They are vacant now, redundant. And they are, in the parliament, they have passed a law that these redundant churches can be sold for any other purpose. So it doesn't matter whether one is Christian, one is Hindu, or one is Muslim. Our simple request is that whatever you may be, you make cultivation of God consciousness. That is our program. Scientifically, try to understand what is God. And if you consult Vedic literature, you'll get very accurate, scientific, authentic information. So if anyone is serious to understand God, so there is no objection. Just like if one is serious to understand some particular science, he goes to some other university in other country, that does not mean that person is fallen. No, he is searching after that particular scientific knowledge. Similarly, our request is, we invite everyone that there is great necessity of God consciousness at the present moment throughout the whole world. Without God consciousness, all qualifications are useless. That is the Vedic verse. Apranasya hi devasya mannanam lokaranjanam. Just like this body, because there is a minute particle of God's part and parcel, the soul. This body is so valuable. One is self, such and such, or Lord, such and such, and big scientists, big philosophers. Why? Because that spark of God's and part and parcel is there. As soon as that particle is gone, this body is useless. It may be a body of such and such, or Lord such and such, but it is useless. It is simply a lump of matter. But people are giving more importance to this body, which is nothing but lump of matter. But they have no information. I have traveled so many countries, universities also. There is not a single institution where there is a department where scientific knowledge is given about God, understanding God or so. That is not very good sign for human civilization. Human civilization is especially meant for understanding God. Therefore, in any civilized human society, there is a system of religion. Religion means, as I have already explained, to abide by the orders of God. It may be little different from one country to another, just like in the political state management also. It is not exactly the same. But the obedience to the state is everywhere. If the state may be, the constitution may be little different, but the obedience to the state is absolute necessary. Similarly, religion may be different according to time, country, position, understanding, but the obedience to God must be there. Obedience to God. Otherwise, it is not human civilization. So, this is our program of Krishna consciousness movement. We invite all learned scholars, priests, philosophers to combine together and save the world from this fall down without God consciousness. This is not good at all. That is our request. So, I think you all respectable priests and fathers will kindly help me in this mission, and I shall be very much obliged to you. Thank you.
Would you like them to ask would you like them to ask you some questions?
Yes?
If you have any question you would like to ask with Divine Grace, you can ask on the subject matter of the lecture.
Divine Grace, you referred to the body as simply matter. Do you believe in a life after death for the body, the human body?
Do you believe in a life after death for the body?
Oh yes, certainly. This is experience in this life also. Just like you had a body of a child, that body is finished, but you are existing. You can remember that you are the body of a child, you are the body of a boy, but that body of the child, body of the boy is no longer existing. You are in a different body, but you know that you are existing. There is a proof that after this body you will have another body. This is the proof. There is no difficulty to understand. As I am still living, in spite of my changing childhood body, babyhood body, boyhood body, youthhood body, naturally it should be concluded when I give up this body, actually I don't give up. The body, there are two kinds of body. This is gross body, made of these five elements, earth, water, fire, air, and there is subtle body, mind, intelligence and ego. Just like we have got fat and coal. So when we give up this gross body, we are carried by this subtle body to another gross body. So I am not giving up. Actually, I am not giving up this body. I am giving up this, just like you sometimes you give up the coat, but your underwear remains, and you take up another coat. Or similarly, the subtle body will remain with me so long I am not emancipated or liberated from material conditions. So presently, when I give up this body, so I am carried by the subtle mind. And at the time of death, the condition of my mind will carry me to a particular type of body. And there are 8,400,000 some bodies. We may accept any of them according. That will be given by superior authority. The karmana daivanetrena, just like in huge, big establishment management, a man is promoted by the superior authority, or sometimes he is degraded. Similarly, in this form of human body, we have got intelligence to understand about God, about ourselves, our relationship with God. If we don't utilize this body for this purpose, there is every possibility to be glided down in the animal kingdom.
What is the belief about the future of civilization? Will we have a happy human family ever on Earth, or will there always be conflict between...
That we are experiencing. This godless civilization is, there is no peace. Although we are improving, just like I was talking yesterday, we have discovered these airplanes, but we have given chance to another kind of danger. What is that? Skyjack? Yes. So this is going on. We are making something for our convenience, but we are creating something else which is inconvenient. So this is due to godless civilization. But if we become God conscious, then our progress of civilization will be very peaceful and happy. Harava bhakta sukuto mahadguna manorathena asato dhavato vai. That is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jasyasti bhakti bhagavat akinchana sarvai gunai tattva samasate sula. Anyone who has got devotion to the Lord, he is qualified with all the good qualities. Just like you are God conscious, so you have invited us to hear, because the good qualities are there. So without God consciousness there cannot be any good quality. We are trying to educate people to be honest, very, very gentle, fair dealing, but actually the result is people are becoming dishonest, miscreant, rogues, thieves, due to God consciousness. Just like in the airport, all gentlemen are searched out. What does it mean? That every one of us is dishonest. That is to be understood. So what the education has produced? Simply dishonest men. Why? Because godlessness, that's all. And they are trying to become, every state is trying to become secular. Don't talk of God. Don't talk of God, then what you are? That is animal society. The animal society has no talk of God. There is only talk of how to fill up the belly. That's all. That is the business of hog. That Shastra says, Nayang deha deho bhajang niloke Kastan Kaman Arhati Birbhujanaji. Birbhujan means the hog, the stool eater. The stool eater is also working very hard day and night and gratifying senses. That's the human civilization is meant for, imitating the hogs and dogs, to work very hard day and night and gratify the senses, that's all. This is the only program at the present moment. So, it doesn't matter whether we are Christian or Hindu, people must be raised to God consciousness scientifically, otherwise it is doomed. It is not problem. It is already doomed. They are simply inviting wars after a few years. In America, in New York, there is United Nations, they are spending millions of dollars every month, but they cannot stop war. Simply the flag is increasing, that's all. Because it is godless. They may talk all big words in the assembly, but at heart they are all dishonest politicians. A God consciousness means clean heart, Chita Tattva Mahadana. I am servant of God. That is wanted. Jasyasti bhakti bhagavat akinchana sarvai gunai tattva samasati. This is the definition given in Vedic. Then if anyone develops God consciousness, then all the good qualities will develop automatically. And you give him all kinds of education, but if he is godless, it is all useless. That is compared with decorating the dead body. They just like dead body. If dead body is decorated, so it may be a satisfaction for the relative, but what is the use of it, decorating a dead body? Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya, Jati Japas Tapas Kriya, great nationality, great work, great achievement, minus Bhagavad Bhakti, God consciousness. It's just like decorating the dead body, that's all. What is the use of decorating the dead body? Because actually this body is dead. As soon as the soul is away from this body, it is a lump of matter. So, when the soul is off from the body, if somebody decorates the dead body, what is the use? It's simply concoction, that's all. Therefore, according to Vedic system, as soon as the body is dead, there is no question of decorating, immediately burn it and finish, make it into ashes, that's all. The body has no importance. Really, the soul is important, the living force. So we have no education about that living force. The original living force is Krishna or God. So we have no information. So therefore this education is very, very essential, at least at the present moment. You may educate in any way, Christian way, Hindu way, Muslim way, but educate all the people about God consciousness, otherwise the civilization is doomed.
Prabhupada, at the beginning you mentioned a question asked Srila Goswami was asked if after the disappearance of Krishna.
Yes. That Munava sadhu pistuham bhavadhi lokamangalam. When a question about Krishna or God, he congratulates them. My dear sages, your question is very welcome because it is the question of God. So, there may be questions, but every sincere man must question what is God and try to learn it. That will bring auspicity all over the world. Simply, in school, colleges, in business, in assembly, in society, there must be some discussion about God. Then it will be very much auspicious for all the world. There must be some question. The question may be awkward in the beginning, but if the question is sincere And if you take the answer sincerely, then you will understand about God. So therefore he welcomes Munayo sadhu pistuham bhavadvi lokamani. Jat kita krishna samprasna jina atma samprasidati. My dear sages, you have inquired about Krishna. It is very welcome because it is auspicious. Krishna Sampras. And by question and answering this subject matter, you feel satisfaction. Jina atma samprasidati. Simply by question and answer, you feel satisfaction. And when you understand, you feel the supreme satisfaction, the belief. But simply in the period of questioning answer, you feel satisfaction. Jina atma samprasidati. Therefore, in school, colleges, assemblies, societies, everywhere there must be questions as what is God, what I am, what is my relation. This should be answered scientifically and understood scientifically. Then there will be peace. Otherwise there is no possibility.
We can know something about God through our sense knowledge and through concepts, etc. But how do we know God? If I can make that distinction. You know, God isn't something that can be sensed, and He isn't something that can be grasped by the finite mind. He's the infinite, as you said.
Yes.
How do we know God?
Yes. God is unapproachable by your mental concoction. But there is another process. If you understand God by this parampara system, it's like on this roof there is some sound, and every one of us making some suggestion, what is this sound? This may be like this may be like that, this may be like that. This is one process of knowledge. To understand the unseen by speculation. This is one. It may be successful, it may not be successful. There is no certainty. But if somebody from the roof says this sound is due to this, then our knowledge is perfect. Similarly, if we speculate about God, who is adhokhaya, who is beyond the range of our mind and speculation, then we can come to the conclusion of Brahma realization, impersonal God, no more than. But if we hear from God or His representative, then we get perfect knowledge of God.
Well, even in revealed religion, where you have a scripture, say a Vedic scripture or a Jewish or a Christian scripture, it's still being put into human words and therefore becomes circumscribed again. And so it seems to me that you've still got the same problem even in a revealed religion, that it's not God, it's something short of God.
No. Just like in the Bible, it is said, God said, let there be creation, and there was creation. Is it not? It is fact. It is fact. Now, you find out who created the universe. If you deny this fact, no, God did not create, then you explain how it was created. So there is no difference between Bible and Vedic literature. We accept also God created. But in the Vedic literature you will find how God created. That you will find. So if you are actually serious to understand how God created, why don't you come to Vedic literature? That is the duty of every student. If you are after the knowledge, why should you stick to one particular place or book? If the knowledge is available in other places, you must have it. That is inquisitiveness, seriousness. But if you say, no, we are Christians, we have studied Bible, that is all. We will not touch. I don't think that is very nice conclusion. You remain Christian, but what is the harm to study other literature where more information are there? That is quite reasonable. We are not asking you to become Hindus. We simply want you, everyone, that you become God conscious. That is our mission. Our mission is not that to convert. What is the use of convert? If my habits are the same, suppose I am Hindu, I become Christian, my habits are not changed, then what is the use of becoming from Hindu or Christian or Christian being? Now our principle is that if you want to understand God, then you must be sinless. Because God is pure. Anyone who is sinful, he cannot understand God. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Dīsāmantagatam papam janānām punnyakarmānām dedam namaha nirmukta bhajanti māgatidabrata. That is the secret. You see, if your eyes are covered with something, how you can see things perfectly? Similarly, we have got many dirty things within our heart due to our so many sinful activities. That should be clean. Then immediately, as the mirror, when it is clean, you can see your face. Nice. But if the mirror is full with overcast, with dark, you cannot. Therefore, there is a process. We must adopt this process. So, anyone who is adopting this process, they are understanding very quickly the science of God. The common substance of this process that we should be free from sinful activities. That's all. Then God realization will be very easy. But if you surrender to God fully, then God will help you to become free from all sinful activities. There are two processes. Either you try to become sinless by your effort, but if you think that are unable, then you simply surrender to God and He will help you. He will help you. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja aham tva sarva papibhya mokkhishyami ma shuchi. One thing is that nobody can understand God if he is sinful. But Krishna says, God says, that you surrender unto me, I shall help you how to get rid of the result and action of your sinful life. So, to approach God, either you become sinless by your own effort, or you simply surrender unto God and He will help you to become sinless. Whichever you do. He is giving full freedom. He is asking that you surrender. He is not forcing. God can force you. He is all powerful. But he doesn't interfere with your independence. Because we are part and parcel of God. God is fully independent. So we have got also little particle of independence. As soon as we misuse that independence, disobey the words of God, we become sinful.
When one becomes sinless, will he then experience the indwelling of God?
Oh yes, certainly. That is the platform of understanding God.
And the indwelling of God urges one to go out to the world and other people in love, a love which not only...
Yes, it is Dīrghāna. If you are serious to understand God, then God will help you also. He is within you. He will help you. Yes.
Sorry.
in the Christian history, one of the people that many of us look up to was a man called Francis of Assisi, and he talks about knowing God, and he links it up with experiences such as the occasion on which he embraced the leper, and he says that, you know, unless we turn to our fellow man with an attitude like this, then we are not reaching God and God consciousness. And this is in line with one of the central teachings of the Christian scriptures, which is that if any man says he loves God and does not love his neighbour, then that man is a liar.
No. If actually one loves God, he must love everyone. That is the sign. That is the sign. Just like my heart is now thirsty, I am quenching with drinking water and putting here. So as soon as I put this water here, immediately the energy distributed all over the body. So a God-conscious person cannot be neglectful or envious to anyone. That is the test. This is test. Sarvai gunai tattva samasate sa. All good qualities. So this is a good quality to love your neighbor, to give them service. So if actually one person is God conscious, he must be sympathetic with the troubles of his neighbor or anyone, not only human being, animals also. They are also living entities. A God conscious person has no discrimination between human being and animal, or trees, or plants, because they are also living entities.
An old Australian man who's been wandering around called Fred Robinson has been forecasting doom to happen very shortly for the human race, and says that it is far too hopeless to try and grasp for spiritual planes until one goes back to the land, back to simple living, and where one just makes one's task to supply food for the children, the new children of the new age, and then yoga and the spiritual disciplines will flow much easier. What would you say about that?
Yes, we are also distributing food. Yes. You know, in Mayapur, Delhi, we are distributing food to 2,000, 3,000. So that is one of our program, chanting Hare Krishna mantra and distributing prasad. We are distributing. When I started this movement, I was cooking myself and distributing prasad. But we do not discriminate that he is needy. Everyone is needy. So actually everyone is in need of spiritual understanding. So by distributing food, the spiritual food, simply by eating, he will be Krishna conscious, even if he does not do anything. But actually we are inviting person to come, sit down, chant with us Hare Krishna mantra and take prasadam and go home. That's all. This is our program. So prasadam is already included. And there is the question of needy man. So we invite any needy man to come and join us and we shall finish. That's all. We invite anyone. But they do not like to come to us to chant. That is the difficulty. Oh, you'll have to go there and chant Hare Krishna. So they are afraid. What can I do? We invite everyone, please come here, chant Hare Krishna mantra, dance with us, and when you are hungry, take some food. We are prepared to give you. So our program is very easy. And actually these boys and girls, they were not advised in the beginning to become my initiated student. I simply invited, please come. I was chanting in the Tompkinson Park in New York, and many of them were coming. So I invited them, please come with me, take some prasadam. So they used to take that. In this way, gradually, they develop Krishna consciousness, and after some time, he proposed, Swamiji, make me a disciple, initiated. So I say that you have to follow the rules and regulations. They agree. No illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. If they are prepared, then I accept. If they are prepared, they give me that. I accept that. That's all.
Yes. Come back to something that you said which I didn't understand, was the connection between the necessity for obedience to the state and the necessity for the obedience to God. To take an example that occurs to many young men in this country, and I suppose in America, the question of military service arises where the state demands absolute obedience, and many young people feel this clashes with their obedience to God. How do you advise people to resolve this sort of conflict?
On the draft, if one has to obey the state and go to war, how is that the same as obeying God?
Well, God consciousness does not prohibit war, but it must be for the right cause. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, we see that the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita was given to Arjuna in the battlefield. And in the beginning, Arjuna did not like to fight. He was a good man, a religious man, devotee. Naturally, he was not inclined to fight with his relatives, since man. He said, Krishna, the opposite side, they are all my brothers and nephews and fathers and grandfathers, so there is no use of fighting like this, to kill them and take the... Let them enjoy. That was his conclusion. But Krishna induced Arjuna. No, this is the right cause, you must fight. So similarly, war is not always bad. Nothing is bad, nothing is good, unless it is used for God. That's it. Our philosophy is, everything is good. God is all good. So if he advises to fight, that is also good. That we shall depend on the discretion of God. If God wants us to fight, then we shall fight. If God wants us to stop fight, then we shall not fight. Because we are surrendered to God. If whatever God orders, we have to do it. That's all. We don't say this is good, this is bad. Whatever God says, that is good. What God does not say, why is that is bad. This is our concept.
The question remains, how does one discover what God says? And many people have been brought up to believe that you find what God says by asking what does the state say. Now, as I understand the Christian tradition, it's quite different to that. The conscience, as you have it from God, can often bring you into conflict with the state, as Jesus himself found. Now, I think I understand what you're saying about, Bhagavad Gita and Krishna can say that certain war is good, the cause is right. But in today's circumstances, the question still remains of, can you find out what God thinks or God says by finding out what the state wants? And
God says, for the time being, you are not in direct touch with God, but you can follow the biblical instruction God's agent, Lord Jesus Christ says, you follow them. The 10 commandments are there. Lord Jesus Christ says, thou shalt not kill, so you shall not kill. Why should you kill? You follow this instruction. God is vegetarian. Then you gradually develop your God consciousness.
But you haven't answered the question about the conflict between the faith of God. You haven't tackled that at all.
He was giving an analogy, just as the one must follow. He wasn't saying that necessarily we have to follow all dictates of the state. Prabhupada was giving the analogy, just as one follows the dictate of the state, one also must follow the dictates of God, I believe. That was the analogy. It wasn't that he was supporting the dictates of the state or in accordance with the dictates of God.
What does that mean in terms of the God?
So thank you very much for your kindness. God bless you, spiritual master tonight. And we will request you to come and visit us. We have a temple, 14 Burnett Street in St. Kilda. You're always welcome. We are your servants. We are. There's not many places. You go in town, you go on some street. There you go in a store, they will ask you some money. They will give you some service, but they will ask you some money. But you can come at 14 Burnett Street, you can come, eat with us, and pass the day with us, talk with us. We are your servants. So you are most welcome. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank Srila Prabhupada for his kindness and extreme gentleness in coming to us. We've listened with respect to the words of life, and it has warmed my heart anyway and given me hope for the family of human brothers to which we belong. I think we're closer to one another now, we and the devotees of the St. Kilda Temple. It's very beautiful having you here tonight, and I certainly feel as if this is a meeting where human brothers under a man of particular inspiration are coming in contact with the God whom we're all reaching out for, but who has many faces. Thank you very much.